Okay, let's go on and download the WAAMP server. Now you open your browser. When you open your browser, let's just do it the easier way. Let's Google it out. Now let's Google WAAMP server. Very good. And you see the website there. You click on it to open the main site. Now on the main site, click on download from their menu navigation bar, and if you're running on a 22-bit window platform, I will recommend you download the 22-bit version of the WAAMP server. But if you're running the 64-bit, I recommend you download the 64-bit. Now my system is running the 64-bit operating system of Windows 8.1, so I'll go ahead and download the 64-bit. When you click on download, you see this. Go ahead and click on download directly to open the SoundForge page, where it will prompt and pop out your download. Okay, you say your download is WAAMP server will start in 4 seconds. 2, 1, bam, there we go. Yeah, so WAAMP server 2.5 is about 41.49 megabyte, but I ain't going to download that because I already have it on my desktop. But for those of you who don't have it, go ahead and download it. And I just minimize that. Now let's install the WAAMP server. Now I already have my WAAMP server right here on my desktop, as you can see. So I will double click to, I'm sorry about that. To open the WAAMP server, I'm going to run as administrator, and it pops out the installation wizard for me, where I can follow the procedure and install the application. Now I'm just gonna pause the video and wait for the installation to finish. Okay, see you back when I resume. Okay, our installation is complete and we have this set up to set up our WAAMP server here. So now you say please specify the SMTP server and the address mail to be used by PHP when using the function mail. If you're not sure, just leave the default values. Okay, now leave the local host the way it is. Okay, as for the email, you can change it to whatever you want, maybe to your email, the email of your website, whatever. Okay, but the local host, the SMTP, please, you must leave at localhost if you want to run your PHP scripts locally on your computer. Okay, so I'm just going to change this to my email, and there we go. Launch WAAMP server 2.0 now. Finish. Now if you leave that checked, your WAAMP server will be launched automatically. And if you look at your taskbar, it will be displayed with a green color. Now if your WAAMP server refuses to display green at the taskbar, then you must go back to their website and download this file right here. Let's take a second. Okay, you must download this file right here. Okay, download this file, install it to your computer, and then run WAAMP server again. I believe it will come out normal because your WAAMP server must have a green color for it to be active and work efficiently and effectively. Okay, so I believe we have our WAAMP server up and running, and let's check to see if our installation went on correctly. Okay, now to do that, we are going to create a PHP file to check that. Now just write php info and you save that in your www directory of your WAMP server. Okay, now let's navigate to the location where our WAMP was installed. My computer is on the C drive. Down you see WAMP, you open WAMP and www, and there click save to save. Okay, let's change the name to php info and you click save. Now your file is automatically saved. Now to view that, we'll have to go to our browser, Firefox, type localhost, we'll save that with php info.php, which is the extension of the file. Okay, now let's execute that. Blam, our WAMP is up, running, and in good shape. You see that? Now it gives you the PHP version that is currently running on your computer and some system configurations on your computer. Okay, now if you are not seeing this right now, then something is wrong somewhere. Okay, you need to go back to the previous video, follow us from the beginning, and then follow every step that we've done, and I believe you surely get this. Okay, so I think we are okay, and our WAMP server is up and running. That means we can write our PHP code and execute it perfectly well in our browser. So now we are going to start getting our hands dirty. Okay, we'll get our hands dirty. So see you in the next video. Bye. In the last movie, we got a better understanding of how PHP is processed by the web server based on the file ending and the opening and closing PHP tags. Now we can use those PHP tags actually embed our first PHP, and we're going to do that with a classic computer hello world function. Now we have our second.php file that we've already created. I'm going to go ahead and do a save as on that file, and I'm going to save it as hello world.php. Remember, PHP is very important. And I'm going to change the title right here to hello world. Now I'm free to put a PHP code in here, and the website will take that file, process the PHP code that is in there, and send the result to the browser. So let's go ahead and do that in here. Now I'm going to put my opening tag and closing tag. Okay, and now we're going to use a function called echo hello world, and a semicolon after that, and that's going to be the structure of our basic PHP statement. We're going to have what we want to do, which in this case is echo. The object of that is hello world, and the semicolon at the end is going to serve as a structure separator. It's going to let it know that this is the end of this instruction, because remember, white space can be thrown in there anywhere. So sometimes those instruction separators are going to be needed to let PHP know that this is the end of a particular statement, and now you can move on to the next statement. And it's going to complain to us if we don't have the semicolons in there. So the truth, if you're using a one-line single comment PHP statement in there, it doesn't get confused, and it knows that if you leave that semicolon out there, it won't complain. But it's very important and very good habit, and your best interest that if you be in the habit of always leaving that semicolon in at the end of every statement, because when you start working with complex PHP code, you're going to need it, because it's going to be very important. So I'm going to save the as. I'm going to save it, and let's preview it in our browser and check that. Hello world.php, and there we go. It gave hello world back to us. Let's actually view our source code and see. view page source, and you see that we have the HTML, the head, title, and everything is okay the way it's supposed to be in a normal HTML file. Now the echo disappeared because the function is there to tell the browser that that is what it is echoing. Okay, it don't need to appear right here because it's a command that told the browser that it needs to echo hello world. Okay, so it doesn't need to appear there. Okay, so the echo function works pretty much like the print function, but the print function has been known by some people to be a little bit slower than the echo function, so we're going to stick with the echo function throughout this course. But for the purpose of this particular video, let's try the print function and see how it's going to work. Okay, so after this, let's copy this code and paste it in the next line and change the echo to print. Let's save that, and let me join this hello world so that you get a difference between the two. Let's go back to our browser and refresh. Now you see that the hello world has been printed twice. The first one is by the echo and the second one by the print statement. Okay, so the print and the echo does the same thing. Okay, so whichever one you want to use, but I prefer us using the echo statement throughout this course. Okay, so that is it for now. Stick to this. Now follow the video step by step, and if you don't get what we got, go back to the video, watch it fresh, calm down, do the whole thing step by step, and you get it. Okay, so till then, see you in the next. Welcome back. Now, in order to be a good programmer, you need to learn something that is very important in almost every programming language, and that is called comments. Now, as a good programmer, you might want to use comments in some areas of your code so as to understand what a particular command or what a particular function is doing when you come back to the code later, or when you send the code or want to send the code to somebody else somewhere else. Okay, so comments is very, very important in coding or in programming. And in PHP, comments can be written in different type of ways. Particularly, we have two different types of comment. We have the block comment and we have the single line comment. Okay, and the single line comment can be written in two ways. So let's look at how this can be done. Now, the single line comment can be written using the double slashes. We have the double slash followed by the comment, single line comment. Or you can also use the hash symbol like this, or the pound symbol, as some people know it, single line comment. Okay, now those two symbols are used to comment on the single line, but mind you, you cannot use a double slash to write a block comment. Okay, now let's say you want to write something in the block form that carries more than one line. Block comment, let's say for instance, and you want to continue from the next line, and you hit your enter key and you want to write some other comments like I am still commenting. Now immediately you hit that, you discover that that is the end. Right here is the end of the comment. Now immediately you hit enter, you discover that you are typing in the different what you're doing is a completely different thing. And if your editor is the type that colors out different things on your coding environment, then you discover that the color of your comment now changes, and once it changes, you know that you are not commenting anymore. Okay, so now in order to write a block comment, you use the star symbol. I'm gonna do that here. You use the star symbol, sorry, you use the slash followed by a star symbol, and then you comment all the way to as many lines as you want. So this is a double line comment, and you want to continue, and you say okay, and I am still commenting and you want to continue, you say okay, still commenting, like that. Now when you're done commenting, you end your block comment with a star symbol and a slash. Okay, now the opening is a slash and a star symbol, while the closing is a star symbol and a slash for block comments. Okay, now the single line comment is double slash or the pound sign, while the block comment is the slash and an hash and a star symbol, sorry, and then you close it with a star and a slash symbol. Okay, get this into, make this a part of you in your programming life, and it will be very important. It's going to help you very well because it helps in programming, especially when you're more than or you programming a project, or you're doing a project with somebody else somewhere else and you want to send him a copy of a project. Now commenting in some areas so that he or she will have an easier understanding of what you did will be very important when it is being commented. Okay, so make this a part of you and you're going to enjoy your programming life. See you in the next. Welcome back. Now in the previous video we have successfully installed the application that will be used to view our PHP code, and so now we're going to start out with writing some PHP code. But before then, I will like us to know some basic things about PHP. Now all PHP codes have a beginning and an ending tag. Okay, I'll just call that a tag, and it goes with the less than, question mark, PHP, and the question mark greater than. Now this is the opening tag right here, while this is the closing tag. Now any PHP code that you are writing goes in between this and this right here, else the server would not recognize it as a PHP code. All right, so now we are going to quickly look at how to embed a PHP code into HTML. I'm going to create a basic HTML file quickly. If you would, me, you can join me. Let's do that. Okay, so HTML, and I'll just open and close it immediately. HTML. So we have the head tag, head open and head close, and inside the head we have a title tag. Title, let's call it begin, and I will just close that right there. And let's go down to our body tag, and we have body close. Now in our body, let's just write a text. Let's just say this is our first script, for instance, and we happen to save this as first.html. for now, let's say HTML, and we load that in our browser. So I'm going to remove the PHP info and put first.html. Now you discover that what I wrote right here, this is our first script, is displaying on the screen. Good job there. But what if we decide to embed PHP into it like this? Let's say okay, PHP, and we say let's use the PHP info we used in our last video. So PHP info, yeah. So now let's save that and preview it. Let's refresh and see. Now we'll discover that nothing is being displayed on the screen. Now the reason is the question is, why is it that nothing is displayed on the screen? The answer is very simple. Okay, now the reason is because the extension is .html. Okay, when you're writing a script with PHP tags inside, your file must be saved in .php instead of .html or whatever. Okay, they must save it with .php so that the server must recognize that the first and foremost is a PHP file, and inside the file it searches for PHP tags and execute the PHP codes inside the tag. Do you get it? So now we're just going to save this as, we'll do a save as and change it from first.html to first.php. I'll save that again and then come and change the HTML on my web browser to PHP, and I'm going to load that, and blam, we have our PHP info displayed on our browser. Okay, so that is it. And one more thing, you know, PHP does not, now if for instance we have a code like this, we have this PHP, and we have this, and we have PHP info, that. Now let me do a save. Let's call this second.php. Now in PHP, white space is not significant. Okay, so you can have a code written like this in PHP, that's absolutely fine, and you can decide to say, okay, you don't want it like this, you want your own this way, you want to indent it like this, it's still fine, it will execute and give you the same thing. Let's check that out and see. So we have our second.php, and you still have our PHP info file there. So white space is completely insignificant in PHP. Okay, so get that while we continue our scripts in our next videos. Okay, and finally, any statement written in PHP must end with a semicolon. This here, it tells PHP that this is the end of a statement. Okay, now in subsequent videos you got to know what a PHP statement is, but for now just know that every PHP statement must end with a semicolon, else you might get some sort of error that you might not understand. So check your code very well before you preview it on the browser to make sure that there is no error or there is no mistake whatsoever regarding your semicolon in the end of any statement. Okay, so that is it. So I'll see you in the next video.